Hey there guys, and good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever and whenever you are, and welcome to another new kind of video here on the channel. This is the first devlog for a little project I've been working on, little Metroidvania game I've been making. It doesn't currently have a name, as you can see. It's currently just called Metroidvania Game 1, but yeah, I wanted to sort of show off what I've been doing, and then sort of talk through some of what I'm going to be doing next. So, as you guys can see, this is, the project, blah, 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 if I can speak. This is the project so far. It's not really anything big. The most recent additions have been this settings menu where you can mess around with all of the keybinds. You can mess around with stuff like making it full screen, turning VSync on or off, setting up the audio settings and all of that. You can, and then the other most recent addition I've added, if I load up, is this sort of logbook feature where if I defeat this enemy here, there's an enemy I made called a rock charger, which if you stand too close to it will charge you. You can see it fills up with some information about it. It's sort of based off of the logbook in Hollow Knight. It will eventually have like a picture of the enemy in question in place as well, but it'll sort of, I don't know what I'm about, but yeah, it'll eventually will have a picture of the enemy there as well, so you can see what they look like. And what I'm currently really working on right now is a logbook system, but so the logbook has sort of 4 sections in it. That was the bestiary section, and the next one I'm working on is the sort of information about items, the area, and upgrades. Speaking of upgrades, I'm going to show off a few of them that I've made. The first one here, as you can see, is a thing called the spin gel. Needs changing its name. None of the names are really final, and it basically lets you jump around spinning. But this gives you more control over where you're gonna land, and well, there's some power-ups later on as well that require you to be spin jumping. The next upgrade I want to show you is this thing here called the pulse visor. And in its current state, what it does is it uses this special crystal resource up here, and you can hold down the key and it will highlight any destructible blocks nearby. I'm not planning on making this one required to complete the I'm out of ammo to complete the story, but it's more there just for people who need the extra help. The final upgrade I want to show you is this thing here called the moon boots. Now with these, you can press the key and you can see they start glowing, and this lowers the gravity, but it doesn't just lower it for you, it lowers it for all the enemies as well. And it also enables you to do this slow fall thing here, which is gonna be interesting to mess around with and make level design for. But if I just show you what I meant by, or show you how it interacts with the enemies as well. If I come back through here, I guess I can show off this thing here as well called the morph core, turns you into a little slime. If I quickly come here, which I'm going to quickly return to the menu to showcase this as well, is the save system I made. So it loads you back into the last place you saved. You have all your upgrades and stuff again. But if I come over here to break through the floor here again, as you can see, it's not visually the best. I've tried to make it interesting, but it's definitely not its final state. But if I activate the moon boots here, you can see the enemy has the lowered gravity and the slow falling as well. So it'll be interesting to see it used sort of in... Oh, and I died. I mean, that's the death animation I made for now. But yeah, that's sort of the state that the project is in right now. Like I said, what I'm doing right now is working on this sort of logbook thing, which is going to go off of a sort of similar path or sort of similar logic as this bestiary, where basically as soon as the scene is loaded, it loads in this file up here called bestiaryinfo.json, and it basically loads in all the information about the creatures and then just checks if if you've defeated any of the creature before, using these things here called bestiary icons that each have their own creature attached to them. And then it prints out the relevant information if you do. And then all of that goes into this logbook scene, which is going to have this as well as the logbook, the map, sort of inventory to show what upgrades you've got on and your percentage. And then it has these two buttons here, which will let you flip between all of the different pages here. So as I put up on screen and you guys get to watch this lovely time lapse of me writing some awful code, this bit took me 20 minutes to write all of this. It did not go well. It broke multiple times. As you get to watch this, I want to just take a second to, well, I guess more of a minute or four. I want to take a second to talk about the sort of, I guess, journey that this game has been on, because originally it was going to be all about slimes, which is why a bunch of the upgrades like the spin gel still have that sort of thing about gel in the name, because originally you were going to be like a slime character who was like, you were in like an experiment or something, and you were on like a field test or something like that. But I've changed the story quite a bit since then, and sort of the types of upgrades have changed a lot, and the different mechanics. Like the moon boots, for example, originally were just your ordinary standard run-of-the-mill, higher jump. But then I thought, why don't I make this more interesting? So I added in the gravity feature, and I personally, it's one of my favorites. I quite like that upgrade. But yeah, it's definitely been a journey getting all of this made. There's been some ups, there's been some downs, there's been a lot of weird bugs. A lot of weird bugs. But overall, I think it's been going pretty well. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think. Obviously, it's nowhere near being done. The world you guys have seen multiple times of when I like test it, load up into the game, is literally just a test world. Fire will probably still be in the game if and when I release it, when it's done, but you probably won't ever explore it. I've been working on some world design off to the side a bit, but I wanted to get some of the more basic systems like this logbook done first. And this logbook is the biggest thing I've ever coded, actually. I mean, the craziest things I've coded in this so far are probably the setting system, which wasn't actually that bad once I got into it. And probably the shaders for the water and lava, and some of the abilities have shaders attached to them as well, that I had to learn a completely new language that I've never seen before, OpenGL, I think, to use the shaders in Godot, which is the engine I'm using. I probably should have mentioned that at the start. But it's been a journey working on this, and I'm really looking forward to continuing it in the future. But yeah, let me know what you think. I think personally that I'm really motivated to continue going on it. It's been a really fun project to work on. I think that's what I like so much about doing this and doing sort of game dev stuff. Oh, you can see here there was a great glitch where both pages would load up at the same time. It was not fun. But yeah, I think one of my favorite things about game dev and doing this is that I get to use that more sort of logical part of my brain that I really enjoy messing around with, but I also at the same time I get to have fun with it. I get to just mess around and see what works. If it doesn't work, just move on. And I get to be creative, and I think that's my favorite thing about it, is getting that sort of level of creativity. And you can see here I finally got it working. Felt so good when I got that working. But I'm gonna go finish up, or at least do some more on this logbook, and I'll catch up with you in a bit. So, okay, one thing I need to do is I want to show you quickly this scene here, which doesn't look like much, but I need to add 2 new export bars. One called ROE, which stands for Research on Entry. So basically what this means is, if that's set to true, it means that there'll be some kind of research log that will basically be added to your logbook once you, like, on entering the room. So for example, all the rooms at the entrance to an area will probably have that area's name, that area as a research on entry room, if that makes sense. And I need the research type. And so what I'm going to do is, in this player script here, which is, the player script is 1,235 lines of code long. It's a very long script. I'm going to head up here to the on-camera checker area entered function, which basically is responsible for doing the camera system I showed earlier, that you would have been seeing, where the camera is like locked into this room until we go through the door where it goes into the next room. That function is what's responsible for getting that working. And so I need to, if area dot ROE for X in range. Oh. Let's add another export var. Export var res cat goes to string. And for anyone wondering, this is going to be research category. Yeah, I really need to get better at commenting my code. I don't do it enough. For X in range, len inventory dot logbook. If inventory dot logbook x0 is equal to area dot rescat for n in range, then inventory dot logbook x. It's probably a very inefficient system, but it's I can't really do a binary search unless I sort the list, which I don't want to. So linear search is the best I got. I guess the good thing about this is that there aren't really that many categories that I can think of there would be, so only sorting it within the categories is going to make it faster, obviously, but n0 is equal to area dot research type inventory dot logbook xn1 equals true. We then break from this loop, then when we're out, we break from that loop so it doesn't just keep going through. Cool, and I want to check this with having this first room set to false, second room set to true, the category will be areas, the type will be Xperia, which is the name of the surface area, and so I want to see, enter the first area, unknown object. Oh. Key. What? Okay. Let's get rid of that and try this again. I don't actually know what the problem is. But, okay. Areas. Stadia. Okay. Logbook. Index 2 should be 0. So it should be 8. Oops. That's something I'm gonna need to fix for all of them. But, oops. I think that should work. It's gonna look weird because I haven't put any \ns in the actual file yet. If we come in here. Okay, so yeah, it loads up now. Okay, so we've got that working. And okay, so that's most of the logbook done actually. Now all I need to do is add in. If you come to the bestiary, you can see most of the code is the same. The only thing that's missing from the research logbook bit is this bit, which is basically having the functionality where if we're in the logbook, we can, or if we're in the bestiary, we can press S or W to scroll through what will eventually be all of the creatures. And I wanna. Okay, yeah, this is. I fixed that. That was doing some weird stuff earlier. Return to menu. But yeah, I think getting that functionality in should be easy enough. So I suppose I should just get that done now. So I'm gonna probably just crack on with that. Probably just gonna crack on with that. Might do it as another time lapse. Might do it as a montage this time, but I will see you when it's done. Oh, let's do this. So while we go through this time lapse of me once again making some horrible code, it's probably very inefficient, but I don't really care. I want to offer up a quick disclaimer about, you know, what you can see of the game, which is probably obvious, but it's just a case of anything that's shown is very subject to change. All of the visuals could change at any moment. Like this logbook obviously isn't gonna stay as like just a translucent panel. I am gonna make some art, some pixel art to make it look like an actual book, and the art side of this is probably one of the hardest parts to me. The art and music are the most difficult bits for me. The programming and design isn't as bad, because I'm not very good at art, but I've given it my best shot. So far, everything in it I have, you know, made myself. Music-wise, in the future, might give it a shot myself, but I would be tempted just to see about, you know, hiring a professional. But that isn't. I'm not gonna really deal with that for a little bit. Not until I've, you know, really started working on the actual like areas in the game, because the world design bit is probably going to be the next biggest challenge for me, and it's probably going to be something I spend more time on than most of that player script, that 1,200 line long player script. Probably is going to be less time than the world design for me, because obviously it's a Metroidvania game, so the world design and the map is going to be very important. And the map system is the next part of this logbook I want to make, actually. Or it's either that or it's the inventory page, inventory tab. But either way, I think personally it's all coming together nicely, and I'm really proud of what I made. But either way, I'll let Norm and me finish this off. So I wanted to finish off today by showing you guys 2 of the things that I am most proud of so far that I've made. The first one being that it might be quite obvious now that I picked up a certain thing. You might have noticed it throughout, but I'll just show you by picking up this as well. This is an upgrade called the Aqua Visor, which lets you breathe underwater. And you might notice that the visor turns blue. And that's the first thing that I'm really proud of managing to pull off, which is that most of the upgrades have some kind of visual change to the character when you get them. Some of them are big, like a new suit of armor, and some of them are small, like your boots or your visor changing. But I just think it's cool that I've managed to get those in. And the second thing is this water effects that I've made here. I'm really proud of this. When I first started this project, I did not think that I would be able to pull off something like this, and I'm really proud that I did. But either way, as I said, let me know your thoughts of, well, unnamed Metroidvania Project 1 in the comments. If you enjoyed this devlog, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and share my channel with your friends. I'll be probably posting these about once a month, maybe, and probably not all too commonly, simply because it takes time to make new features and art and stuff for the project. But I'll definitely be still working on it, even in the background, even if you don't get all too many updates. But as I was saying, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. I fell in the water. Bye bye.